Hi, my name is Tamara, and you are watching Things Even a Monkey Should Know. Thanks so much for watching again today. As you know, if you've watched a few of my other videos, I'm not a professional at this do-it-yourself stuff. I'm just a girl who has figured out that there are a lot of things around my house and out in the yard and on my cars that I can do myself and save myself a bundle of money. Hopefully, you have now saved a lot too. So today, I'm going to be showing you how to replace or install water line on a refrigerator. It's really easy, and it's something that you might need to do whether your refrigerator is older or whether you just got a new one. I got a new refrigerator the other day, and the installers told me that they could not replace my water line or change it out. Well, it's a long story, but they told me they couldn't do it and I would need to call a plumber. So I got to looking at the line myself and decided that I would save myself the huge plumber fee and just do it. So let's get started. Of course, incredibly important is the things that we're going to need today. The big one is the new water supply line for your fridge. Make sure you get the one that says ice maker connector. Do not get the one that says dishwasher line or whatever. Also make sure that you get one that's long enough. So this one is 10 feet, should be plenty long for me. In most cases, this should be way longer than you need. You will also need a crescent wrench. In most cases, that's all that you're going to need. If you happen to have a water line that runs through cabinets, like I do, you may need a drill to enlarge your the place where the line runs, because if you have an old copper line, the old copper lines are only this thick, and the new lines are this thick. But it should be exposed where your line runs, and so it would not be a big deal to drill it out. If you wind up needing to drill it out, of course, and in any case, even whether you have the copper line or the other line, you're going to need a towel. But if you do have to drill out, you're probably also going to need yourself a little vacuum cleaner, because you are going to have a little bit of sawdust in your cabinets to clean up. So that should be all. So slightly unfortunate, but fortunate in some ways. My line is exposed, but it runs through 3 cabinets before it gets to my fridge. So what does that mean? It means I have to unload my cabinets before I can do anything. Well, on the plus side there, at least somebody, did you see those nice rolling drawers that somebody installed in those cabinets? That made it way easier. Now, if your water line is under your sink, as it's liable to be, you're going to see, oh no, all these different handles and things to turn. But your ice maker connector is going to be pretty apparent. It's going to be the line that runs in the direction of your fridge, which my fridge is that way. So it is this little connector down here. And what do we always do whenever we're working with water? Why, we turn the water off first thing. So you turn it to the right as far as it'll go, which is not very far. And then since we're down here, we're going to go ahead and we're going to disconnect this. And you're just going to go ahead, it shouldn't be on there very tight, so put your towel underneath. Shouldn't be all that much water in it, hopefully. Now a little bit of water is going to drain out. So we'll just leave that here for the moment. Okay, so do you think this next part is going to be the big scary part? Pulling the fridge out of this space. I'm a little skinny girl. How can I possibly pull this giant heavy appliance out of here? Well, thankfully fridges have little rollers on the bottom, so if you can just get it worked out, it should just come right out. In my case, mine is pretty tight in there. You just walk it out. I didn't have to unload it or any such thing like that. Just gradually walk it out. I think we've got it. So mine is a pretty tight space back here. but I think I can squeeze into that. So I just want to show you the back of the fridge. Your water line connection should be somewhere at the bottom. It should be pretty evident. Obviously it's not there, so let's just pan over and find it. And there it is, and it should be hanging out somewhere out of the back of these funny little cardboard things that indeed this cardboard thing is supposed to stay on here. Anyway, so there's the water line right there, so now we know where we're going with the new line. Okay, so we're back under the cabinet again, and this is the point at which if you had one of those old copper lines, you might have to drill a bigger hole in the side. Now mine, fortunately, is already big enough, but if you have to do that, it's in the back of your cabinet and it's totally worth doing. And by the way, the whole reason that I'm having to do this myself is that the place that delivered my fridge told me that they cannot run lines through cabinets because they're just not allowed to. So I get to do it myself, which I don't mind because it's always a learning experience for me, hopefully for you too. So I'm going to go ahead, and by the way, if you did have one of those old copper lines, the connections are the same, so that's why I said make sure that you just get the one that says that it is indeed for the ice maker. So I'm going to go ahead, and this is my new line. I'm going to go ahead and hook it back on here. I know it looks exactly the same as the old one, doesn't it? But it's never a bad idea to go ahead and get a brand new line whenever you're getting a new fridge. So I'm just going to hand tighten it as far as I can. Then I'm going to use the monkey wrench to go ahead and tighten it down as much as possible. Hope I'm not blocking you guys. Let me see if I can sort of hug you a little bit while I do this. So you don't want to over tighten, just do it until it feels snug. So now that we've got that tightened, we're going to do the fun part of threading this thing through. Hopefully it won't be too bad. Okay guys, you want to make sure that that line that we just put through there is nice and taut, and then we can go ahead and remove this little cap that covers the water line thingy. Just save that for later. And then we're going to go ahead and attach the line. And so again, I'm just going to do what I did earlier. I'm going to hand tighten it first, and then I'll tighten it further using the crescent / monkey wrench. Let's see if I can hand tighten it anymore. Okay. All right. And again, you don't need to over tighten it. Just tighten it until it feels nice and snug. Okay, so that's done. So now let's go turn on the water. So now we're back under here to turn the water back on. And just something to keep in mind, you want to leave your fridge pulled out until you've let the water run for a couple minutes, just to make sure that there's no leaks, because it would really suck to have a leak behind your fridge and not find it out until your wall was growing mold. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to turn on the water, and you can hear it when it comes on. Sometimes the hose will move a little bit, mine didn't. And this is good. You can feel there's no leaks under here. So let's go check the back of the fridge. So we're back at the back of the fridge. Feeling around here, everything feels beautifully dry. That's all we wanted to know. Okay, so the only thing left, well, two things left, but the first thing is to put my fridge back together. I'm going to let you watch me in fast. So see, that actually wasn't so bad, and while it's not fun moving a fridge out in and out by yourself, it's totally possible. So there's one thing left to do is all, and you should do this on any fridge. You need to drain the water line because it's going to have air in it since you just put in that new line. And the way that you do that is, or I should say flush it. It's called flushing. You get something bigger than a glass. Mine calls for having 3 gallons of water flushed through it, and not only does that flush all of the air bubbles out of the line so it doesn't go whenever you're trying to get a glass of water and spray things everywhere, it also, you know, gets any oils or anything that might have gotten into it at the factory, it flushes those out too. But in the meantime, we do have a nice glass of water that comes out of there. So I'm not going to make you watch me flush mine, but that is the last thing that you need to do. And also, of course, don't forget to turn on your ice maker because that's pretty important if you want to have some ice and all that stuff. So that was the last of it, and it really wasn't that bad, right, to change out the water line. Again, a lot of people's lines are going to be directly behind their fridge too, so you won't even have to go through the cabinets. But it's just a really good, helpful thing, I think, to know that you can do yourself, especially again if you have one of those old copper lines that can sweat and potentially cause mold behind your fridge, or you know, cause damage to your cabinets. You don't want that to happen. So just some good stuff to know. So I hope that that helped you out, and please join me again next time. If you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. Thanks very much to everybody who has subscribed, and I'll see you again soon.